All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of All the Mod 6. I hope everyone is doing great today. I know that I am now that I am on the up and up. For those of you who do not know, who haven't kept up over on the Discord, I have been fighting off an illness for the past couple of days, and that's why you did not get any videos over this past weekend. But now I'm in the rebound. Hopefully, fingers crossed, knock on wood. I have some hot tea with me today instead of coffee, so that's what I'm going to be sipping on, and hopefully it'll make me feel better. I'm also rocking the more facial hair. It's been a rough time getting through this illness, so I haven't really gotten bounced back fully yet. So, but anyway, it's lucky enough that I do record some of the videos in advance, so you guys were able to have some episodes up through Thursday of last week. You guys had some videos, which is great. But it has been a while since we last played the pack, and there has been updates to it. So we're going to run through those really quickly here before we jump into what I have planned out for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up our inventory. I got the listing of mods that they actually added in one of the most recent updates. I'm just going to run through a couple of them and show you guys what got added in, because it's actually some really cool stuff. So I should clarify, there have been 2 updates that have come to this pack. The most recent one didn't really do too much, so I'm not going to run through it that much. It was the one that came before it that actually added in all these mods. So that's what we're going to run through. And I already have one pulled up here. As you can see over here on our side panel, we have cable tiers, which was added in. This is in relation to refined storage, which is really awesome. This adds different levels of our importers, exporters, constructors, deconstructors, and so on, from a elite all the way up through to a creative tier, which is really cool. These creative tiers are expensive, though. You do need blocks of netherite. You also have to go all the way up through the other tiers, obviously, to get there. And then you also need a dragon head, which you can actually, I believe you can find in the end. So we're going to have to do some hunting in the end to actually find a dragon head. But you guys already know we're going to get to that creative level, because I'm a sucker for anything that's like pinkish purple colored. Like, that's my game right there. So we're definitely going to try them out, and I'm going to show you guys hopefully what the differences are, because I don't really know, and it doesn't really say what the differences are between all of these. I'm guessing the creative one is just going to, or all the way up through the tiers, it's probably going to bump up export rates, like export or import rates, and then like maybe stack functionality as well on it. So pretty much just speed and stack size that it can move around, which is pretty cool. So we'll definitely get into that. I'm super excited about it. Moving right along is kind of to a whole slew of mods that were added in. I'm going to touch on a few here, but they're all around furniture. Yes, furniture. I know it's kind of weird, but it's pretty cool. So the biggest one they added in, and let me make sure I type this right, is what? McCrayfish furniture. And yeah, there is a lot for us to take advantage of from this mod. It's pretty cool. It doesn't have all of the color palette I would hope for, just because we've defined our color palette for our kingdom using like modded materials, so like our willow wood and our gabbro bricks, I believe that's what they're called. And obviously this is all focused around the base Minecraft materials, so a little bit unfortunate there, but we're definitely going to make use of it in some form or fashion. It's pretty cool. Now, along with this, they did add in what is it, builders, crafts, and addition. So builders, I think it's crafts. It's on here. Yeah, here it is. Builders, crafts, and additions. So again, very similar. And now this time, I think it's got a little bit wider. It is at least including some of the nether materials in this one as well. But a lot of cool things, like even a MIDI speaker. Like, that's pretty cool. Like a fireplace guard, candles, arcade. Like, really, really cool things. Some iron fencing. Like, this is going to add a lot of cool aesthetics to our builds that it's been kind of lacking. There hasn't been a lot of those additional, like, detail items that we could add in, and I feel like this is going to be a great addition to it. Now, the other thing they did add in is chimneys, advanced chimneys. which is pretty interesting. I've never played with it before, but it looks cool. It looks like, you know, we could just create some chimneys, but hey, still cool. Now, they added two other things. They added tiny redstone, and they added three other things, I'm sorry. Tiny redstone, framed blocks, and mob grinding utilities. So, I'm just going to look up mob grinding utilities just to show you guys that this one was added in. Looks pretty cool as well. I've never really tinkered with it, so I feel like I've actually seen the XP tap before, but this would be really good if we're trying to collect XP. But again, for us, we kind of have 411 levels right now, so probably not. But it would be really cool if you're starting off. So anywhoozins, that is pretty much all of the updates. Pretty exciting stuff, I'm going to say. I'm really, really excited to utilize some of those mods to decorate our area a little bit more. So, in our last episode, we went ahead and we got our environmental core stuff up and going. This stuff has been running for quite some time, honestly, and we've been collecting a whole heck of a lot of stuff. I think in the next episode, we are going to upgrade it to get it to tier 2. But we're not going to do it right now because that is a lot of work, and I haven't really prepared for it because I've had the Black Plague. So, instead, what we're going to do is focus on this today. So this is a little glimpse of it. What we're actually going to do is I'm going to tear it down. I'm going to build it back up to show you guys how it can work. And then let you guys know why we set it up. Well, I guess I can let you guys know why we set it up right now. Because if you guys know, if you are tuned in to the refined storage, one of the big things that you need is silicone. Now, silicone you get from just smelting up quartz, right? Well, there's actually another way to get it. It's especially a good way to get it because it's kind of hard to get all the quartz that you are going to need to make everything, especially if you're trying to get to the infinity tier or up in those ranges of storage blocks. So the way you do it, because if you look through all of the different smelting, it's all the same. Smelt quartz, smelt it, smelt it, smelt it. Well, there is the material stonework factory that you can actually utilize to take cobblestone and turn it into silicone. Now, the material stonework factory comes from industrial foregoing, and it took me a hot second to get this bad boy up and going, but we're going to run through it all again. Don't you worry, because I feel like it'd be worthwhile to actually create a second one to utilize. So, let me get some stuff in order, and then I'll bring you guys back once we are ready to hop into getting this set up. All right, guys, we are ready to go here. So as you can see, we are over at our underground area below our diner. Got our diner up here with Emerald Muncher just hanging out. Best name ever. But we do have our disillusion chamber over here because we are going to need it in order to get up and going what we need. We also have a mob slaughter factory and a fluid encapsulator along with some tanks, so on and so forth. Just tools that we're going to need in order to get the material stonework factory up and going. So, first, we got to be in the right inventory here. The biggest thing we're going to need is an advanced machine frame. Now for this, we are going to need some components, including netherite scraps, diamond gear, some plastic, gold, and a simple machine frame. So we're actually going to want to start with this one. We're going to want to start with the simple machine frame after we get to the pity one. This should not be too hard to make at all. So we need the simple, and then we need the pity. Let's grab our pity. Pitiful. I don't know why it's pity. It should be pitiful. I think that's what it should be. But then we're going to need everything else. And we can honestly just do this because it'll, I think, pull in everything that we need into the inventory there, right? Or do we need one more piece of plastic? Yeah, that's the only thing it doesn't work well with is the plastic. We're going to need one more piece. And luckily, we do have a good backlog of it. So, and then we just need to come in here and place it out in our disillusion chamber. This is how you make more of the more advanced machine frames that you need in industrial foregoing. This is a little bit newer. I remember before it wasn't like this. It was, you pretty much just had it in a normal crafting grid. But now they've added this in. And for this one, we actually do need latex. And luckily for us, we have latex already built up in here. So we should be good to go to get this. So netherite, plastic. Okay, we could do that. So netherite, plastic, iron, and then finally gold. Now this will take a hot minute. Obviously it does need power, but this is going to give us our next tier machine frame, which is perfect. Now from the simple one, we need our advanced one, which is pretty straightforward. Again, you're going to be using this same dissolution chamber with very similar things. You're just switching out the iron for some gold and the gold gear for a diamond gear. So not too bad, but the one thing is you no longer need all this latex in here. So we could actually get rid of the latex. So I believe we can actually tell it to push out the top, and it'll actually get rid of all the latex in here, which is perfect. It's exactly what we needed. And then we're going to grab this bad boy and just place him to the side. There's more efficient ways of doing this, that's for sure. But for the time being, for our simple setup, it works perfectly fine. We're also going to need a bucket here. All right, so the advanced machine frame, again, is actually very straightforward. It's not too hard to get everything that we need for it. I'm actually going to come in here, just go like so. It should get us pretty much everything. Again, you need to get the second piece of plastic. Don't know why it works on everything except that, so... well, that's easy enough to get, and then we need a diamond gear, which should not be too bad. There's Shibi. Grab that, and we're good to go. I think that's the one we needed, right? Yep, diamond gear from Thermal Series. So, all we got to do now is get it put in place. And again, it's going to be the same locations, just switching out the gold, or the iron for the gold, and the gold gear for the diamond gear. Now, unfortunately, this one takes pink slime. Now, pink slime is one of those things where it's kind of hard to know where it comes from. It has been in this mod for quite some time, so for those of you who are used to the mod, you probably already know. But for those of you who don't know, we can run through it real quick. So, pink slime, if you look through it in here, it doesn't really tell you until you come to machine outputs, and even that, it just says a mob slaughter factory and then pink slime. So basically, I guess it's pretty straightforward. Basically, you need to set up a mob slaughter factory, put some mobs in front of it. I would recommend using like cows. That's going to get you more bang for your buck. And what will happen is it'll actually kill the animal, kill the mob, and you will get a mix of liquid meat and pink slime. Now for us, our pink slime is being output over to a fluid encapsulator, so I could put it in a bucket and just move it over. Again, there's way easier ways of doing this, but this is the way I wanted to get it set up here. But I'll show you how this works. So all you got to do is we'll place a pig down right in front of here. It's just going to disappear. And then this is going to be increased right here. And then our liquid meat is going to get increased as well. You might already be using one of these mob slaughter factories in your playthrough to get liquid meat or whatever you might be doing. So we have plenty of pink slime. So we're going to grab our bucket of pink slime. We're going to come back over here and throw it on in. And with our pink slime in there, it is going to use up, I think it's a quarter bucket. And that's going to give us our advanced machine frame here. So again, all really straightforward, no tricks, no smoke screens or anything like that. I'm sorry, it actually took up a half a bucket is what it utilized. So what you could do is you could then drain that out if you wanted to. For us, no real reason to right now because we're not going to be using it for the moment. Then finally, all we got to do is we have to get up and going. We actually need a pink slime itself, which we should be able to get with 300. I think there's 300 in there, right? What's going on? Can it not do it? Oh, you need a glass pane. That's what it was. You need a pane of glass with some pink slime, and you get a pink slime ball. Now, for those of you who might remember from previous versions of this mod, there's a way to get pink slime balls from getting enough pink slime in a bucket, dropping the bucket down, and then spawning in a pink slime from it, and that's how you would get your pink slime balls. I don't know if that's still the case. This honestly is way easier to do, especially because you are going to have some left over from creating that advanced machine frame there. So what do we need here? Pane. We need a glass pane. Now, I believe it takes any of them, so whatever you have on hand should work perfectly fine. All we got to do is throw it in there, and it'll get us a pink slime ball. Does this make sense? 110% no. I don't know how you take a glass pane and some pink slime and just get a pink slime ball from it, but you know, hey, I'm not going to complain. It is what it is. So we need 2 golden gears, 1 diamond pickaxe, and then what else do we need? A furnace, which again, very, very easy to do. And there we go. We have a material stonework factory. Now, this machine has been around for some time as well, so I'm sure that most of you are actually used to it as well. For now, I'm gonna place it right here in the middle, so we could take a look at the inventory on it. So this does need some power. I will give it a little bit of power. Power. Let's do this one. And actually, do we want to set it back up to be connected to this? We could do that. So let's actually nix this bad boy off of here for a second. We're going to nix this. Yeah, we're just going to take everything off for a second. We'll grab that. I am not going to take this one off because it is holding a lot of lava currently, and I really don't want to mess it up. So let's get this taken off of here. And we'll come back over here. So as you can see, we have a setup like this when you first set it down. Now, if we take a look at our, what are we trying to make again? Silicone. The silicone recipe here. This is basically instructing you how to set up the steps through the process in order for you to get silicone, which is really, really cool. And really, if you set it up right, you don't even need to use any of your own materials. All you need to pump in is water and lava, and some power, obviously, and it'll do the rest of the work for you, which is really, really cool. Especially, again, because then you don't have to use a gajillion things of quartz to get all the silicone that you need. So this down here is the interface that you would change to represent what we just saw up there. So for us, we would want to go crushing on all 3, and then nothing on here on the end. And then the other thing that you're going to want to do as well for each of these is have it so that these are all disabled. So I believe if you go, what is it, right click? Yeah, right click will disable all of these, especially if you're hooking it into a system. You obviously don't want it to just automatically be pumping out. And I think the red one is the last one we would want, so we would want it to go out, and then this one we could just disable because there's nothing that's going to be to that one. So that should be set up to work properly. And you know what, actually, I should just do it on this one and show you guys. So we have it set up the right way on this one. Yeah, and as you can see, we have it set up to export on that one. I actually have it set up a little bit differently because of how we're going through things here. But you know what? I'll set it up the right way here. Let's set it up just like how we had it here. And then get rid of that. I think that's the bottom. Yep. So I have it set up the same exact way that we just showed in the other machine there. And pretty much all you need to do now is give it power, give it water, and give it lava. And then you can select what you want it to generate. So there's a couple different blocks you can actually have it generate here. This is like a very loud click for some reason, I feel like. But what we want it to generate is cobblestone. And it's going to take 1 bucket of water, 1 bucket of lava, and it'll make cobblestone. And then from there, it'll go through all the steps and make silicone automatically for us, which is really, really nice. So let's get our water going here. So all I did was get a sink up and going, because as you guys know, that is a infinite water source. And then all you got to do here is make it so that it's pulling from the sink into the material stonework factory. Then all you got to do is come over here to the input and just make sure that it's set up to pull from it, from the direction you have it importing the water from. You might not need to do this, but if you are running into problems where it's not having the water come in automatically, that's all you got to do. So we have that set up. Now the other thing is our lava. The lava is going to be the same exact thing. We have it coming from the left-hand side, right, or the right-hand side. Coming from the right-hand side, and we have it set to pull in as well. Now for this, I have it just hooked into our lava system. So we had set up a lava system for power generation many episodes ago. And all we're using here is a ender tank, which hooks to that lava system, and then a mechanical pipe. And all we have to do for this one is, for you guys, you would place it down. For me, I am just going to reattach it here, and it should be pulling in lava and water. And as you can see, it goes through all the steps and ultimately results in silicone right there at the end. Now for us, I did actually have a speed tier 2 upgrade on it. So this is actually what you guys will see. It'll be a lot slower for you to go through. But let me run you through what it's actually doing and why I actually modified mine to be a little bit more, well, to be quicker. So considering the amount that we are actually going to want to have on hand of silicone. So what it's doing is obviously, well, I'll let it run through the cycle here. So first step here makes your cobblestone. Second step here, it's going to take that cobblestone, break it down into gravel. Then it's going to take that gravel, break it down into, it says black sand, but it's just sand in general. And then finally, it's going to break that sand down into silicone, which is very interesting that you can break it down or crush sand into silicone. This is the only spot that you can actually do that. You can't put it in a crusher or anything like that and make silicone. Extremely weird. But what I ended up doing, for one, is obviously getting a speed upgrade on this is going to make the process way, way quicker. Now, the other thing too is, realistically, this is a way to get silicone from resources that are very, very easy to collect. Lava and water. Super easy to have and collect a lot of. However, it's not very quick and you're going through a lot of steps. So what I did is I cut it down, and that's why I have this drawer up here with sand. So I collected a whole ton of sand and just had it pump in to our system here. Now, I don't want to necessarily do it just yet. I'm going to actually change this. Did our audio settings change? I'm kind of curious. I don't think they did. No, they didn't. Okay. I'm like, this sounds very, very loud. So I'm like, did these change? So what we're actually going to do is we're going to switch this out and have it back to what I did, which is cutting down on the amount of steps, which ultimately it kind of, you know, makes it so you have to have your own materials for it. But I think ultimately it's worth it. So let's actually have it run through to get rid of all the lava that's left in here. It shouldn't take too long. I don't think it has that big of a back buffer of lava. So the one thing I actually did notice, guys, which you might already know or whatever, is that when you actually look at this, it doesn't consume the water or the lava. So you don't need an infinite source into it. I'm sure some of you were probably clickety-clacking it already in the comment section down below about this, but you don't need to have that. You could just put in 2 buckets of water, 2 buckets of lava, and be good to go. You could put in 1 bucket of each and be perfectly fine and set to have this process run automatically, which is actually kind of nice. I did not realize that you didn't have to have infinite of each on there. So if you wanted to do that, you could actually really condense the whole entire process. Don't even need to have it this crazy, which is really cool. But anyway, some of the other things do take, actually consume the water and lava, like netherite, granite, obsidian for sure, andesite you can actually make in here, which would be really good for the create mod. If you are looking to get a andesite production up and going, this is another way to do that. But anywho, that's beside the point. So we are changing this then to be what we need it to be. So what is going to happen is the sand is actually going to come into this one. It's going to be crushed down, and then I believe just output automatically into silicone. There we go. I know how to talk. I know what I'm talking about. If we put this on here and we go to pull, and then this one has to accept from the top, and it should, yep, automatically make silicone. And so that's why I set it up this way, because it's very quick, especially if you have a lot of sand on hand. Now, again, if you don't want to do that, what you could always do is just set one up that just has water and lava in it, and then you should be fine. You don't even need to do anything else. You could just have it set up and run, and have it making it as it goes, just naturally. So that's definitely another option to do as well. And I just gave it a little bit of power here. I guess we don't really need these things on the side here. We could actually get rid of these. As much as it pains my heart, oh my gosh, of course I broke the wall. Our pickaxe is a little bit too powerful at times. It's gonna break my heart to get rid of this. I know I could try to empty it into something, but you know, it is what it is at this point. So yeah, we don't actually need any of those things, which is really, really nice. So that's actually pretty much the only setup that you need to do, which is really nice. Again, if you want to have sand pumping into it to get silicone. Now this thing is running, we're almost at 5,000 silicone, which is really, really good. Again, considering it's used in so much stuff. And now that tiny redstone is in here, it's used in even more. Mainly it's used in our processors. Our processors take up a lot of silicone, fluid storage, any kind of storage stuff that we're getting up and going. It just takes up a lot. We do have these withering processors. These look new from extra discs. What are these used for? Hang on a second. Let's go to extra discs. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit sidetracked here. What is this raw? Doesn't say. Withering processor. Okay, is it used for anything? It doesn't really look like it. Interesting. Anywho, yeah, it doesn't really... Okay, whatever. But guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap up the episode there. So, nothing too crazy. But again, I thought it was really, really cool to be able to find another way to actually produce silicone, especially if you are shooting for a goal of getting some of those higher tiered refined storage discs, be it fluid or items or whatever it may be. It's a great way to have it without having to go out and get a bunch of quartz, because that's what's been holding us back, is having enough quartz to actually produce a lot of that stuff. So yeah. And actually, you know what? The one thing I almost forgot, because it has actually been some time since we have recorded an episode, is getting you guys caught up on something we did on stream. That's what happens when you get hit with the Black Plague. I don't actually have the Black Plague. Just how I feel sometimes. But on our last stream, which was quite some time ago at this point, we did get up and going a new massive farm here. So this is going to be our ginormous farm for a lot of miscellaneous things, a lot of mystical agriculture, probably. So we got a bunch of diamond seeds going right now, a couple of nether quartz as well. And then as we expand and grow out even more, we'll start growing even more resources, because some of our end goals are those creative or infinite items. So we definitely need to build up a good backlog of stuff. And this is, honestly, I'm not going to go into this because, for one, we're at the end of the episode here. And two, it's the same exact thing that we have set up over here, just over here on a larger scale. This is actually the max that you could go with it for the length. Yeah, the max that you could go with it for the length, because that's 16. This will only go out 16 blocks. But you could have this go even farther if you wanted to, or you could have it loop around and do another one if you wanted. I mean, you could definitely make it, you know, longer or loop around or whatever it may be. But in terms of length, that's as wide as it's going to get with these automated create farms here. So, and obviously we have fertilizer and these lily pads of fertility going to help us produce those crops. But guys, with that being said, we're going to wrap it up there for real this time. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, definitely leave a like down below or leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new here, definitely follow along by hitting that subscribe button and bell notification to let you know every single time a new episode is posted here on the channel. I do stream over on Twitch. Currently, our schedule is Mondays and Fridays at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, roughly. Sometimes about 5 p.m. It just depends. But we have that linked in the description down below if you're wanting to check those out. We do also have a community Discord set up. I do post all updates over there. So for me being sick and not posting episodes, I posted over there. For not having streams, I posted over there. Anything of those sorts, I try to keep you guys up to date over there. So, but anyways, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Appreciate it so very much, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy.